So, hello everyone. It is Larisa here. It is Friday afternoon, and I'm really happy to be here. Normally, we would be doing this interview live, but we have had some major technical difficulties because Facebook is awesome and they want to make things better and better for us. And when they keep changing things, we don't always know how to make them work on a weekly basis because they do that. So, I'm really happy to be here with a super special guest. And I think many of you might know her. And if not, you will. And her name is Tamara Hrechuch. And why she is so special is because she's my mom. She is my mama. And so at first, I remember she's actually one of my clients as well. And I remember when we first started working together, I was like, hey, Mom, I'm doing this new thing. So do you want to hear about it? Just so you know what I'm doing. And I shared what I was doing. And she said, I think I might want to do this. And I said, okay, let's do it. And so initially she did see value in the program, and she sort of did it just because I was her daughter. And she's like, oh, I got an opportunity to spend more time with you, right? And over time, I think her whole perception to everything and her whole approach to the work that we do has transformed and absolutely flourished. So I'm very, very proud of her. And I am so happy to share her story because I think it's something that a lot of us and a lot of people can relate to in some capacity. So just want to say thank you, Mama. Thank you, Tamara, for coming on and having the courage to share your story. Because I know for the first, year or so, year and a half, you were in the closet about all of this stuff. And now people are seeing the difference, and you're seeing a big difference. And so you're really stepping out and sharing that because you do see what this has done to you. So maybe instead of me putting words in your mouth, why don't you tell people, you've been doing the Thinking into Results program for a while now. Why don't you tell people and share why you first got started? Like if you think back to that very first day and that very first point in time, what is it that made you want to start?
Well, what really made me want to start was, like you said, to spend more time with you and to support you. I mean, this was a big venture for you, and I thought, oh, well, maybe if I start, I mean, you talked me into it. So I thought, okay, well, I will do this for Larisa. And I'm thinking, okay, so, and you're telling me more about it. And I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. And at first I thought, okay, I'm her mom. She'll give me, I'll be her practice person. And then you said, well, you have to pay for this. And I said, okay. And then I sort of stepped back and I thought, she's making me pay for this? And I said, I was thinking, I gave you life and you're making me pay for this and you're going to practice on me? But I thought, okay, never mind. Positive, stay positive, be supportive. And so the more I got into it, the more you began to push me, and I'm going, well, I don't do this kind of stuff. I don't write down my feelings because I've had other experiences where I've written journals and I look back at them and I just didn't like them. And I'm thinking, and you're telling me, write. And I'm going, and I'm trying to make an excuse. And you said, oh, but you're making excuses. And so reluctantly, I began to write and follow the program, the TIR program, Thinking into Results program. And at first I thought, okay, I'll just play along and do what she tells me. And I saw some value in it, but the more I got into it and the more somehow that subconscious began to believe what I was thinking and what I was writing, the more I saw how my life began to change.
Yeah. And I think and I love how you said that, like I played along at first, but the more I did it, the more I started to believe myself. Right. And sometimes we all have change can happen in an instant. Right. And the actual moment of change happens in an instant, but sometimes that build up to that one moment it's different for everyone. We all have a different path, and there's no right, there's no wrong. But to honor that and to really say, okay, well, this is the way it is, and recognize it when it does happen. I remember when you were like, well, I don't want to write. I'm going to write on my pencil in case it's wrong, and I'm going to erase it just in case it's not the right thing. Right. And now you write and you don't think about it. Right.
I've graduated to a pen.
Yes. But that's huge. It's like, what if I make a mistake with my future or with my life I'm just going to make it permanent, because today that is the perfect answer. Right now, that is the perfect answer. And you having that courage to even do that, even though, for some, it's like, who cares, a pen or a pencil? But that is so significant and so powerful, especially when our paradigms, those mental programs, that conditioning that we have that makes us have the choices that we have and do the things that we do, that holds us back. And it also has the power to let us move forward, to allow us to move forward. So what would you say is the biggest turning point for you? Like, when did things start to shift?
I think probably, it was probably 6 months into it, because at that point, when I started to actually see results, I no longer made it about you. I started making it about me. Mm-hmm. And when I did that, I really began to focus and sort of hone in on what it was that I was thinking and how I was thinking about different situations. And I began to see the results. And like you say many times, it's not what you don't get what you want, you get what you think. And this allowed me sort of like a new path, and I guess it was a new paradigm, so that I could switch all those negative thoughts and that sometimes replay in your head over and over again, and to sort of reframe them and put them into a positive thought. And how can I change that? And how many times did you say, but Mama, how can you change that? How can you rethink that? And so that at first was hard, but now I find myself with the negative thoughts that still pop up, because everybody has them. I try and reframe them into a positive. How can it be more positive?
Yeah. And that is a process, right? Like, but I love how when you made it about you, and when you took ownership for your results, when you see one little result, it can lead to a bigger result, and to a bigger result, and to a bigger result, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't need to share that with the world, but when you start seeing the results in yourself, other people literally start seeing them in you, right? Mm-hmm. And so what would you say the biggest difference has been that thinking into results has made for you?
It's given me sort of a willpower that I never really had before, or I've had it, but it was somewhere buried in the deep depths of me. And it's given me new opportunities where I've learned I've learned a new skill. I went to Tai Chi, and I totally love Tai Chi. And it's a physical form. And who thought you would ever sweat while you were doing Tai Chi? And man, the first couple of times, even driving to Tai Chi, my back was sore. But now I just look forward to it so much. And I'm so sad that because with this pandemic, we can't do it, but I practice it at home by myself. With food, one of my goals was to have a healthy body, and I joined a program called the Metabolic Reset, and I also went to Weight Watchers, and I've dropped 60 pounds, and it's all because of the willpower and not allowing myself to sort of say, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. I was focused on what I wanted. I wanted a healthy body. I didn't want to have a body that broke down so quickly.
And yeah, so, and your goal, I know a lot of times we do talk about financial goals or other goals, but your goal was related to your health and well-being, right? You wanted to release some weight. We never lose weight. because that's energy, but we release it into the universe and gift it to other people or other things that need it.
Right.
And
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 I'm not sure if I said lost. I don't want to lose it. I want to release it. I want to drop it. I want to give it away because I don't want to ever find it again.
right, good. And I think that's really important, because it's not, and for you it was like, yes, the weight is a number that we can focus on and use as a measuring tool, but it was more about living that healthy lifestyle and feeling good and feeling strong and having the power to do things in your everyday life, have the energy to come home and, spend time with yourself or do something you enjoy, instead of crashing and having to watch Netflix or doing something like that on a daily basis because you're just so tired from work, right?
That's true. And, when you carry around a whole extra 60 pounds, you, you get tired, and by the time you come home, that's all you want to do is lay down on the couch and watch Netflix, at least the first 5 minutes, and then fall asleep. Right. But now that the weight is gone and my body doesn't have as much pain in it, I have more energy. There's almost like a spring in my step. So it's very good.
Yeah. And so how have you incorporated thinking into results into your life? Like, what are some of the daily things? Because I think one big thing, like, you've gone to seminars, I've gone to seminars. I just did a talk on Sunday where I really shared that I'm a seminar junkie. I'd go searching for things in order to come up with the answers. And it's great while you're there, and then you come home. But TIR, the difference between that and TIR, I think, like, there's that daily consistency, and it's not always the big things that make the difference. It's the little things, which sound simple, but aren't if you're not used to them. What are some of the daily things that you've incorporated into your life to make things better and work?
Well, I look at my goal, and I think of my goal several times a day. When I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror, and around my mirror, I have got little sticky notes, post-it notes with my affirmations to remind me that I should say these over and over again. And some of them have been there for almost a year, and I've added a few new ones. And it may sound funny or silly, but when I get up in the morning, all that bedhead and everything, I go to the mirror and I say, "Good morning, beautiful." And I just say my affirmations, and I have daily intentions of what I would like to accomplish. I have a journal. I've started a success journal where I list all the things that I have succeeded in, and I just do it in point form. And I also have another little journal where I write down the things that I'm grateful for, and that I do have, that I have that opportunity to have all these things that have been provided for me, given to me, that I've manifested, that, and it's so important to write them down. I've learned that repetition is a good thing. And when I'm at school, even with my students, I try and focus on the positive with them. And we do little exercises about attitude and choice and responsibility. And those are things that they need to remember, as well as to use their imagination, because we lose our imagination. And I know that I lost my imagination until I did start TIR. And at first it was hard. It was just like I was excavating. I almost felt like an archaeologist trying to uncover all of those things that I had somehow misplaced in my life.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I love, like you mentioned, repetition is important, right? And one thing I learned from you, like, you're a teacher and you go back to the basics with your students in math. And you do something called Mad Minutes, which was huge back when you started teaching, but isn't practiced as regularly these days. And that's where you give them like a worksheet and they have to go through it quickly to learn their basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And when you told me that, I'm like, wow, that's a really good thing. When I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, his parents gave him math problems to solve every morning to start his day, to get his brain on. And he's a real incredible person in the business world because of things like the basics of math. And so I really loved how you did that, and you got really great results with your students. But that's, sorry,
And I
continue.
was going to say, and the students and the children, they recognized how that helped them, and how just 5 minutes every day of it's just a little chunk of time you just practice, and they recognize how it's helped them and how math has become easier for them because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things we've been talking about with our client call, more so a couple months ago, is like the 5-minute miracles. It's like, it's the 5-minute habits that we learn through TIR, through a result of the work that we do, that make the difference. You're like, I review my goal several times a day, and I really put you put yourself in there. You don't just go, oh yeah, that's my goal, but you know what your goal is with crystal clarity.
I
There's a
do.
difference between saying, oh, I want something like this, or I have a goal, and really knowing what that is, but you've taken the time to formulate that with crystal clarity. And that doesn't just happen. That's something you make a deliberate point of doing, and that's why it's working.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't happen overnight to get a crystal clear goal. Even I find when I rewrite my goal on a daily basis as well, just so, and I always seem to just tweak it, whether it's adding a word or taking out a word or combining words in that goal. But just, it's something that is really important for me to do, just so that's just another way of making it my own goal, and by writing it. And then I also, sometimes I just find myself sitting and daydreaming about what it's going to be like and how I'm going to feel, and it's quite it's quite exciting for me.
Well, good. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's designed to do. It's we get we like I said, we don't get what we want. We get what we think, and when we start thinking and take our thinking and apply emotion to it, when we get emotionally involved, that's when it becomes so much stronger in us, right? That's when the payoff happens, because you could just say, I have this goal, and robotically go to it, but that daydreaming you're doing is actually really purposeful work.
Hmm. And it's in a relaxed state, so
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. Um, what would you tell someone? Like, I think I talk to a lot of people, and some have the courage to step on, and some people, there's always a reason not to start. So maybe I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I don't believe in myself. Like, we can all come up with those excuses, like you said. Um, and it doesn't matter what they are, because we can find a lot of reasons not to do things. But when that initial gut feeling says you need to do this, before you come up with the stories, what would you tell someone that's like wanting to but then having hesitation?
I would just say, just do it. Just do it. It almost feels like, there's you people do make excuses, but when you actually start it, you should just figure out a way to get what you need. And even if, like, I started it for the wrong reasons, and I'm so happy and grateful that I did start it and that I figured out what what it is that I want. And I have, it's a growth process. It's I guess, like you say many times, Larisa, because I take the time to go and study every day, and once a week I go on your calls, and then there's such a big support system. You're not going to be alone. There's people, all sorts of people there to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
it wasn't, sorry to interrupt, but it wasn't normal for me to invest my time and money in myself like that. Because when I was a mom, I had 4 kids, and you try and focus and give everything to my kids that that they need. I will always put myself last. And it's good to put yourself first, because then you become a shining example for the rest of your family, for the people around you.
What would you say you're the most, and I love how you said that, because I remember, like, I mean, I grew up with you, and who you were when we grew up is so different than who you are now. Like, I look at the confidence you have in yourself, and how you talk about your day, how you talk about your work, how you talk about even the garbage stuff. Like, there's always stuff that happens in life, but even the bad stuff that happens, you speak very differently about it than you used to. Right? It doesn't bring you down for an entire day or a week. Like, you have ups and downs. We all do, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't come at it the same way.
Yeah,
How, go
you're
ahead.
right. I don't. And it's all because, I mean, the program that is set up for like the TIR program, it's like a roadmap. It's like your GPS system to get to where you need to go. And it's a journey. And once you're on that journey, you don't want to get off because you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you see the benefits, and every day there are things that happen. I'm going, oh wow, look at that. It just, how did that happen? And I'm thinking, I must have thought about what I really wanted. And it comes, and it doesn't come in the way I expect it to come, but it does come.
Hmm. So, what do you think is, things are not ever going to fully end, right? We're on a journey, we're on a consistent journey. And when you keep living, I'm on this journey and it doesn't end. It just keeps going, and I get more excited as I keep going, right? As you get your goal, or as you get closer to your goal, you start to see other possibilities, right? There are things that you didn't talk about when you first started that now you're open to even entertaining, right?
Yeah.
And you went, one thing that we've talked about for years is you always wanted to go to, where was it? To Alaska, right? Well, you booked a trip to Alaska, and that wasn't even your goal, but that was like something you just sort of talked about forever. And you just went out and did it. When you told me, you're like, I'm going to Alaska this year. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. And you just went out and did it. You never would have done that before. Never would have said, I'm worth it. I'm going to Alaska. I'm going to have fun. That was a dream you
Mhm.
had for so long. And you've had the courage to go pursue some of these little things. And now you're having the courage to even entertain thoughts you never had before. How does that feel for you?
You know what? I'm just sitting here. I feel like I got a grin from ear to ear, and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
It truly does feel amazing because, like you said, there are so many more opportunities that have opened up because of it.
Yeah. I mean, I know for myself, I'm really happy and grateful that you did this program. Initially, it was like, okay, well, this is cool. I always saw the potential in you before you saw it in yourself in this way. And I was like, well, one day I hope it works. One day I hope it works. I knew you had it in you. I just wasn't sure when it would come out. And as I've seen it actually unfold, I've just been so I feel so blessed and so fortunate that I did get the chance to experience it and to watch it and to see it unfold. Because I know at first, like you said, you were in the closet. You didn't want people to know, because sometimes, and we don't need to share our goals and our pursuits with everyone, because if they're not going to support you, what's the point, right? If people are not
Mhm.
going to lift you up, you don't need to share those things. But now that you are sharing and you have the courage and you've seen results in yourself, you've seen how it impacts other people, like, how have you seen it, how have you seen what you've done with yourself impact other people?
Well, I know with my students, they have they 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 think school is fun. At the end of the day, I says, okay, put your stuff away. And they say, where are we going? And I say, well, we're going home. It's like 3:20. We leave in 5 minutes. What, already? And so they we try and we have fun with it. The kids love learning. They're just amazing. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to share some of the things that I have learned through TIR. Um, I even the other children. I see the potential in them, my own children, and I encourage them. I try and encourage them in a positive way, um, and you can see them developing and thinking that yes, there is a different way.
Yeah. And I think sometimes who we were yesterday isn't who we are today, and it's not who we're going to be tomorrow. But ultimately, we have the choice, and we have the capacity to say, you know what, today is my day to put myself first. I have potential. We all have potential. Sometimes we know we have potential. We just don't have the courage to take action on it or to do something about it or to move forward with it. And when we do, when we say, okay, maybe I'm scared, maybe I'm alone, maybe I'm not used to this. This is new. We take that leap of faith and say, for whatever reason, I need to do this, and my life is going to change, and I'm going to change the lives of everyone around me because I'm going to be better. You can't fix people, you can't change people, you can't make a difference to others until you start with yourself. And that's one thing I know I've learned with TIR, and the whole idea of just being calm and relaxing and responding versus reacting to things. Because you know what? Life happens. Things happen. When we start to perceive them very differently, we start to get a really, really different result. And that's what it's all about. It's results. And in some cases, we can measure results by looking at something like income or weight or something that has a numeric value, right? But the other results that you get along the way, on the way to those numeric measurable results, are so profound. We can't measure them, but we can feel them, we can see them, we can sense that impact. And I think it's setting, what is the Earl Nightingale quote, success is a progressive realization to a worthy ideal. And that's what it is. It's progressively realizing your potential. And the more we do that, and the more we share that, and the more we gift that to others, the more powerful and beautiful our lives are going to be. And the more we can share those gifts with others, because it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what you think. It's what you express. It's your energy. It's who you are. And that's what people feel. And I think really you have done an incredible job of shifting your energy and stepping up in a completely different way. And like you said, I started it for the wrong reasons, but I'm happy I stayed. Sometimes you don't know why you do things.
But at some level, you know that it's an important thing to do. And that's what we need to do, is we need to sort of stop and listen to what's being played in our heads, that not even in our heads, it's in our souls, that we know that this is the right thing for us to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're afraid to do things, and it's we call that the terror barrier. And once you come up against it, man, everybody wants to turn around and run and hide and run the other way. But once you get through that terror barrier, you become different. You just feel different. You know that you've done it, that you've sort of climbed the mountain, like you're at the summit, like you're on your way to the summit, and you don't have to run and stay in the foothills.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. I love it. So you are definitely on your way to the mountain, up the mountain, getting great exercise along the way. And right. I just want to congratulate you and thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. You haven't really shared it publicly like this or in this capacity before. And so I am very grateful, because I think this will be really helpful to a lot of people. And I know there are a lot of people that have similar challenges or pieces of the same challenges that you've had, because we're all human. And that's life. It's the way it works. And so I think your courage and your dedication to yourself and your willingness to say, yeah, I'm a mom and I've done everything for everyone else. Now it's my turn. That has been a huge turning point. And so Thank you for coming on. And is there
And
anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I just like to say thank you for doing this and helping me, and not just me, but helping so many other people. The Thinking into Results program, if you, it's it's one of the things that has made my life a lot better than I'd ever even imagined that it could be. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Thank you, Bob and Sandy, for coming up with it, because I wish I had come up with it. I didn't. But I am so blessed that I stumbled on it in a very interesting way. But it really has changed my life for the better. I know it's changed your life for the better. And it changes so many other lives each and every day of people all over the world. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. Your income bracket, your status in work, in life, in marriage, in relationships, it's worked for everyone, and I've seen it work for all kinds of people. And I think the biggest thing is when you find that desire within yourself, and sometimes even when you don't, right? Initially you didn't have that desire, you kind of had a desire, but you did it anyway. And then that desire, that burning desire, started to really spark. And when you have that, that's when magic starts to happen. And that's when those results start to manifest. And so we're going to end it with that. And thank you again for coming on and for sharing your story. Because we had to record this, because I couldn't do it live on Facebook because of my technical difficulties, which we'll correct soon. If anyone does have any questions or comments or thoughts, then please put them in the comment section below, and we will be happy to answer them, or direct message either one of us if you want to chat, or just get more feedback and insight as to Tamara's experience or my experience or anything of that nature. And if you're curious to learn more, then let me know. I'm happy to share, because I know this program has worked miracles. It's not for everyone, but I would say it's for a whole lot of people. And the biggest thing is, do you want it? Do you want something different? Do you want something good to happen with your life? Do you want something great to happen with your life? And if you do, and you're willing to do a little bit of work, that's where you start. So enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, enjoy your morning, wherever you are in the world. And we will be back again soon, and maybe we'll have a part 2 and share more at some point. So thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.